Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you a better look at the Spyderco Phil Wilson Southfork fixed blade. I showed this knife briefly in a little outdoor kind of intro when I first received the knife, and I never really showed the excellent sheath, and I just kind of wanted to give you kind of my initial impressions and show you the details a little bit more clearly. So I hope you enjoy the overview, and here we go. All right, let me start off by just saying I'm not a huge fixed blade guy. I really collect more folders, and I just have a few fixed blades, but I am kind of getting more and more interested in them, especially stuff like this Spyderco Phil Wilson, because really it's kind of the customs and you know, the mid-tech kind of production collaboration customs that interest me. And this one was just such a high quality knife from Spyderco, and it's so close to the custom Phil Wilson that I just had to have it and check it out and see how I liked the knife. First of all, it does come with this sheath, which is not Kydex. It's I think it's called Voltron or something like that. Voltron maybe, I don't know. It's a really nice material though. It's similar to Kydex, and I'm not sure why they chose this material over Kydex. Maybe it's just easier to work with, but it's perfect. I love this sheath. I like how it's the fold over design with the rivets just on this side. I think it really complements the knife well and keeps it a nice streamlined package. It comes set up for the Spyderco G clip, which it comes with, and I believe that these wider spaced rivets would accept the tech lock, but I don't have one, so I can't say for sure, but I do think that's probably the different spacing here. The G clip does work really nicely. It's the first time that I've used one, and it just clips right onto your belt, or you could do inside the waistband carry. There's multiple different angles that you could configure this by using these other holes, and you could do cross carry, or you know, vertical, or whatever you want. You could kind of move this around, but it's really nice. It locks in nice and solidly with my belt, which happens to be just kind of the right width here. Now if you did have a narrower belt, you know, that might leave a little bit of slop, and if you had a wider belt, obviously it might not even fit. So I guess that's one limitation to this system, but it just happens that I have a belt that's exactly this width. The retention in the sheath is great. You know, you can hear a little bit of noise there, but that's just the blade kind of rattling around in there. It's not the retention. It's in there solidly, and you can see that when I take it out and put it back in here. So there you go. Here's the knife. Now, when you put it back in the sheath, I don't know if this is true for most fixed blades, but definitely this one, you want to make sure that it's nice and straight when it goes in there, because if it gets a little bit sideways, then it's hard to get out. It kind of gets stuck. But if you get it in there nice and straight, and you can hear that nice click, it's in there solidly and it's easy to remove. Okay, so the knife itself, it has about a 5-inch long blade overall, with a 4.5-inch cutting edge, and it's S90V, so you can kind of see that there. CPM S90V, which this is my first experience with S90, and it's really great. I like it. I like the grain structure here. These grind lines look really nice to me. I don't know if that's the way it was ground or the blade steel, but maybe a combination of the two. It just looks really nice. And then the edge on this knife is insane. It's so sharp, and it just holds that edge. I did use this camping a couple of weeks ago, and I cut a lot of, you know, kind of camping like food prep, and I did a little bit of like just cutting it into wood to see how it would perform. You know, it's not like the best whittler based on its length here for me. I'd want a shorter knife, but and it's definitely not a chopper. You know, it doesn't have that weight. I mean, you could, it's not going to hurt it, but it's not going to be a very efficient chopper by any means. But yeah, for just general cutting tasks around the campsite, it worked great. And just, you know, I've stropped it a little bit, but no need for resharpening. Let's see here, got a little bit of stuff from the sheath on there. So yeah, you know, the handle is a smooth green G10, and it's just a really nice smooth texture on this. Show you kind of a close-up. It's really nicely rounded. There's no hot spots. There's no sharp corners. The fit and finish on this knife is really top-notch. Everything's nicely polished. There's no machining marks. Everything's smooth and rounded. Just great fit and finish. A little lanyard tube, I like how it's kind of beveled, you know, a little extra detail there. Okay, it's a full tang construction with this 1/8 inch S90, but I did see an interview or an article or something that I read about this knife that Sal Glesser did mention that it's skeletonized inside, and that's to give the knife better balance so that it's not handle heavy. And it does have really nice balance, kind of at a weird angle here for you to see, but yeah, it's still a little handle heavy because of this nice thin grind on this knife, but it feels really good in the hand. And it has a nice little finger guard here, which is one of Phil Wilson's design elements, because he's really concerned about you cutting into, you know, like if you're skinning an animal or something like that, or you know, using this knife and you get it a little bit wet, you don't want your fingers to slide up on that blade, so he gives you a nice little finger guard here. And then he also has this front finger choil, which is really good for a little bit more detailed work, but it does put your fingers pretty close to that edge, so you got to kind of be careful. Okay, so on this side, you can see that the knife is made in Taichung, Taiwan, and you've got Mr. Wilson's signature there on the blade, which he also kind of does that on his customs I've seen. It looks really cool. I like that. The overall blade shape is a trailing point, so even though it looks pretty flat right here, it's actually has a slight increase to the angle here. It's a little bit of a swoop up, which just, you know, goes to the kind of primary use of this knife, which would be kind of like a hunting, skinning, just general utility knife. So if you're wondering what you would use this knife for, I mean, you would use it for anything, honestly. It's just an overall excellent cutter. It's really sharp. It's really ergonomic to use in any kind of like chopping, food prep type thing, slicing, cutting any kind of material, especially like, I just think of it as an overall like general utility outdoorsy kind of knife, and that's how I'm going to use it. So that's the Phil Wilson Southfork. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a better look at the knife and just kind of talk about it a little bit, because I really think it's a great, awesome knife from Spyderco. If you have a chance to check out Phil Wilson and look at his customs, you can check out the custom Southfork, which is so similar to this knife that it's just, you know, it's really cool, honestly. I'm surprised that the maker would kind of like have Spyderco make a production version that's so similar to his custom knife. But they're both cool knives, and I'm really happy to have this Spyderco version. And maybe someday I'll be able to get a custom Phil Wilson too. But that was the Phil Wilson Southfork. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment below. Let me know if you liked the video by hitting the like button if you feel like it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider going ahead and doing that. so that you don't miss any future videos that I put up of some other cool stuff and knives. So everybody take care. I'll see you on the next one.